We can go ahead, call this meeting to order at 6:10 p.m. And okay, and so, whoops,
Katie, I can take minutes. I'm going to grab a pen.
that would be fantastic. I was just about to,
Yeah.
ask. Okay, so Kathy's going to take minutes. We've got everyone on the subcommittee present plus myself. All right, Kathy, let me know when you're ready and we can go ahead and jump in.
I'm here. Go ahead.
Alrighty. Okay, so the first item on the agenda would be to approve the minutes from the June 1st committee meeting. Are there any? Well, I was gonna say, before I ask if there are any changes, I will point out, as I did in the email, the original document that Kathy sent to Eric had space for him to include the finance goals from the last fiscal year, the goals for the current fiscal year, and then the consideration of contribution for the PNC Bank project, all of which I found in Eric's files. They appear to be the most updated version of those goals and that statement. But that being said, if anyone noticed anything that needed to be added to that, please let me know.
And that's June. What's the date, Katie?
For the minutes?
Yeah, June
20th.
Yeah,
June 1st.
June 1st.
Yep.
Pardon me.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Well, I didn't see anything on there that I think it had everything that we talked about from the last time. Obviously, the PNC situation has changed since, but
yeah.
So is that a motion though?
Yeah, I'll motion to approve the minutes from June 1st.
I'm happy to second.
Okay. Minutes are approved. Okay. All right, so the next item on the agenda, while it does not necessarily require, doesn't require board approval, the situation with the toilets that we have been having over the last week and a half has just been comical, actually. So the start of this problem, well, besides the fact that 2 of the toilets malfunctioned while I was on vacation, we had an issue with a toilet after I came back, that going beyond just regular normal blockage problems. The plumber came in to take a look at it, and he said normally what he would do is he would detach the toilet, flip it over, and try to dislodge the foreign object that was lodged in the pipe. He thought it might be a cell phone. I don't know. I'm not one to question his expertise, but I was like, okay, that's a new one.
That's an interesting story.
Yeah. But unfortunately, he said that particular toilet was cracked in 3 places so badly that if he tried to dislodge it and move it, it would probably fall apart in his hands. Therefore, this toilet is not usable either way. And after he gave me a quote for a couple of different models. The one that he recommended was just over $1,200 for a high powered flushing toilet. That was the quote that I sent to everyone. He said, this is the toilet that is known for, like, you can flush like 2 pounds of golf balls down the toilet and it's fine. So he said he highly recommends that one. And I'm like, that sounds good. And after I let Kathy know that this, I'm like, look, we've got to replace the toilet. And she said, you know, we could also look at potentially replacing the other toilet on the main floor, the one that was irreparably broken is closest to the emergency exits. And so we're looking at fixing or at replacing the other toilet, the one closest to the stroll room. So, and I thought that it was a great idea. Both of those toilets are pretty old, and the one closest to the stroll room works. I think works worse than the other toilet does. And then yesterday afternoon, there was some discussion about would we replace the toilet at the bottom of the stairs going down to youth services. And at the time I said, you know, we probably not something that we would replace right away, but we can factor it in maybe for the next fiscal year. We actually had a staff member make a serious donation offer to have the toilet down there replaced, which, while very generous, after thought, I am not super thrilled with the idea of a staff member feeling like they need to pay to have something like to have a better functioning toilet at their workplace. But that point may have been rendered moot as that toilet malfunctioned. And so, and then just today we had another blockage problem with the toilet closest to the stroll room that we need our cleaning company to come in and take a look at. So we're down 3 toilets currently. The 3 oldest
What's the
toilet.
recommendation? Is it to replace all 3?
Right now, I would say I would like to replace all 3.
Yeah.
I think the 2, what I have to do is speak to Ravinia Plumbing to see if, I don't know if that's something they could do in one visit or they'd have to split it up. If
Well,
that's,
I have a concern with that estimate. I mean, it's patently ridiculous as far as I'm concerned. If you look at that, they're charging us $520 an hour, and they're charging us 100% markup on this toilet. More than 100% markup on this toilet.
that, sorry, I've got the wrong.
I'm looking at
Close
the
there. Yeah, sorry, I had-
1214.99.
Yes.
Yeah.
My one thing I was gonna say, I can ask them about that. My thought looking at that was that it was cost and labor built into the price of the toilet.
Yeah, it is. They're charging us $521 for 1 hour of installation. And they're charging us $632.80 for a toilet I can go to Tractor Supply and buy for $250.
So how many individuals are
One.
involved in the installation?
Okay, I mean, I put a toilet in last weekend at my house. How it's
Well,
it's
I know, but
yeah.
these are industrial strength in the wall kind of thing. So I don't know. I'm just asking. If
I
what-
have not heard of anything.
How many plumbers can you fit in a bathroom? I mean, not
Well,
to be flippant, but I mean,
I was looking at, actually, there's a previous estimate where they said no helper needed. So I'm guessing that
Okay.
that they add in extra if there's someone there or someone else assisting with that. I believe it's just the one person. That's the person who came out at the end of last week.
yeah, I mean, I look at it as a unit cost thing, right? They're charging us 1 hour of labor, however many people that constitutes, and it's at a $521.06 rate. That seems exorbitant. Is that and I'm not trying to make a mountain out of a molehill if this
No.
is our customary experience, but when I first looked at your email earlier, I kind of choked because all the quantities were 1 and I thought they might be 2, if not 3.
I was gonna say we've used Ravinia for a while. I don't know. I don't know the ultimate I was not part of the decision making to, when we went with Ravinia,
Mhm. Yeah, and
who
I'm
we
not
used
questioning that,
previous.
Katie.
No.
This is for the benefit of the committee, and it's not
Mhm.
directed at
Right.
you. Yeah.
No, I understand that. I was just saying I don't have further, I don't have a ton of contextual information to provide, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I think this is a concern, perhaps,
Mhm.
that maybe, and if Kathy, if you agree, I don't want to overstep here, but like this to me seems a little bit like maybe Ravinia's got too comfortable with us.
Yeah, okay, I'm sorry.
Because this doesn't,
I sort of have lost my visual, so nonetheless, but I'm hearing everything.
Oh, here, let me go
Right.
ahead and share my screen.
Right.
I don't know that that's gonna help me. I switched over to, let me just try to go in there again. Anyway, if you can hear me, that's fine with me.
yep.
The one thing, okay. So,
Yeah. You know what? I've read that as I thought it was the first two toilets.
Yes, right.
Because it said two-piece toilet and then two-piece elongated comfort. So I thought it was the two different style toilets that were going in. Yeah,
Yeah, and I thought if they
Yeah,
want to make
once an
50
installation,
bucks for
yeah.
having it in inventory, I'll give them that. But to make 280 bucks for having it in inventory, that seems like kind of egregious. In terms of the markup on the toilet itself.
so I guess I'm seeing this as well as the two items. The 521 and the 632 are not two different toilets. Is that
One's labor, the first one's labor, and the second one is the item.
the installation cost one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, then we want to ask some questions about it. But the other thing I'm concerned about, apparently we don't have any working bathrooms in the library.
Yeah.
No,
Right.
we've got 3 additional working bathrooms.
Okay.
We've
You've
got the
got-
ones closest to the elevator.
Yeah. And then is there another one downstairs?
Yeah, there's 2 downstairs. There's the one
Okay.
closest to the elevator. The one at the bottom of the stairs is the one that's not functioning.
Well, the only thing I can do is suggest that you go back to, and I don't know who you talked to at Ravinia, but tell them your board wants a breakdown. What is it? It's my character and it's furry. And the other thing is, Pasquesi Plumbing is also located in Highwood, and they do commercial work. So you could just ask them to come in and give you a second estimate.
Yes, and I no, I think that's a good idea. I can definitely contact Ravinia. My concern is at the very least, I don't want, even if it's not okay, yeah, we replace all 3 of these in one go. I think we need to get at least one of the toilets up and running. And right now we do have an appointment, someone scheduled to come out Friday morning to take a look at the 2 toilets. That can be changed, but I don't want to
take a look at
Oh, sorry, not take a look at, to install.
Yeah. Well, Matt's point is very well taken. When you look at
it
the estimate, it is a little confusing. And there's either a story to tell, which is that the labor is more than 1 hour, which is, even plumbers are pretty darn expensive, but that's quite crazy. Or another thing is you can always call Mike, and he's a fallback in any sort of situation. Mike Croak over at the Village.
Yeah.
And have him take a look at this and get his opinion, and also find out who the Village uses for plumbing.
Okay,
Is there a plumbing
definitely do that.
contractor that they're
Right.
associated with? You could probably get them moving around pretty fast on this. As long as the other thing that's come up when we started talking about the logistics is there something wrong with the sewer line? Those 3 are pretty much probably on the same sewer line. So
I was gonna say, I'm not sure about that point. They are for sure the oldest toilets in the building.
Yeah.
And the one at the base of the stairs, we've said, we believe is original to the building.
but that's pretty much stacked below what is upstairs, I think.
Yes, I believe the toilets are the one at the base of the stairs is noticeably older. I believe, I mean, my non-expert opinion.
Yeah, but my
Um,
point is if all three of them are using the same sewer out to the
Mhm.
door, and if before we start putting new plumbing into the walls, we better make sure that that line
Mhm.
is clear.
Okay.
And that's a question they might be able to ask you in a second. Yes, we know that that's the case because the toilet itself wasn't functioning. Or is there any coincidence the fact that all three of them, I mean, I know they're old and they back up, but they're all backing up right now. Is there some issue beyond just the mechanical toilet?
Possibly. I can, that's something I can ask, I can check with Ravinia. I can also ask Mike.
Yeah,
I mean, I'd be in favor of replacing all three if we get the right pricing. I mean, this makes sense if you're going to get them out there, Katie. If that's what.
yeah, I would agree.
I'm just
Even
making
if
notes.
even if this price comes out, what is that? We've got a member savings of $64, whatever that means. Yeah, no, I would agree with Bill that this is just good building maintenance. They're all basically falling apart.
Yeah.
Why would we want to
Yeah.
keep patching up a problem we have? But let's just make sure that we're getting the best possible price.
And I know from my plumbing experience, they charge by the quarter hour, and the last time it was $45 a quarter hour for one of the plumbers to come out to
Yeah.
Okay.
fix a faucet. So
Yeah,
they've
I
got
remember something to the tune of about 200 an hour. So
yeah.
um,
So they're charging about 2.5 hours to put it in, or
Okay.
maybe 3 hours.
yeah. So for example, if this estimate is one, meaning one plumber, a price of $521, is that for 1 hour or is that for X number of hours? Which he
Mhm.
hasn't told
I'm
us.
reading that as one installation. And,
Okay.
and but as Matt said, putting a toilet in is not a time consuming
Uh-huh.
unless there are other things they're going to be doing with it.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
I think to not have functioning toilets is also egregious, and I don't want to forestall that.
Yeah.
At the same time, I just don't want to have people take advantage of us. If and that's my concern here is these prices look a little high. So in the interest of timing, if there's someone scheduled to come out to do a toilet, I think we probably should do that, and then at least and perhaps color that with, look, we need to revisit this price, and we've got two others, or as Kathy recommended, it'd be great to coattail whatever the village uses. I imagine
Mhm.
that's probably a good relationship.
Yeah, and I can very easily call Ravinia tomorrow morning when I come in, and talk to someone and be like, hey, taking a closer look at this estimate, what's the breakdown here? This by, our, a few of our board members were asking about this because it seems, much higher than expected. And then see what they say, and then I can, from there I can adjust the appointment to be like, okay, you know what, let's get one toilet taken care of, because that's, we need to get something taken care of, but the other ones we're gonna have to, do something else with.
Yeah, ask them specifically what's the cost. What is their
Yeah.
hourly fee for this?
Yep, I've got a note to ask them
What's
that.
Yeah,
Good point.
the two things I think I would arm you with are what's their hourly fee for this, and like, are there more plumbers than just the one for that $500? And then
Mhm.
what is their, or can they give us some comfort with the markup on the toilet itself, on the item itself?
Mhm.
Is this a
Yeah,
special like Vulcan model of the toilet that you can't get at Tractor Supply?
Apparently, they're giving us 10%.
yeah, the 10%, yeah, the 10%
Member
part of
savings
their,
is 10%
yeah.
of the cost of the toilet.
Yeah, that's probably, sometimes they have these clutch clubs that you join and you get a discount over the course of the year. And that's maybe we signed up for something like that, or well, maybe it's something the village has got as well. Who knows?
Mhm.
So how do we, gentlemen, what's your recommendation to Katie as far as proceeding with information that she gathers? We don't want to keep calling meetings together and keeping the billing half functioning.
I think if Ravinia is willing, my opinion would be if Ravinia is already scheduled to come out on Friday. Is that correct?
Yeah,
So we need a functioning toilet unless it's going to be exorbitant. If they're not able to reprice this existing quote, I think we take it as it is and tell them we'll be reconsidering because we have two others that we need to adjust. But hopefully they can, they can find a hidden number that they can adjust here. And if you have comfort with that, I would be comfortable. I think we move forward in either case with one toilet and see what leverage we can apply to either get the price lower on this one or on all three.
Okay. No, that sounds good. And I've got, that'll give me it'll give me a strategy for tomorrow morning. The other.
Well, and I don't want to speak for Bill. I mean,
I the same thing, but I mean, if you want just to shoot a note out, Katie, just to say, hey, this is what I do. And then either one of the three of us can say yay, because I think we're all in agreement. We got to get the toilets done.
Yeah.
It's
this isn't Jackson, Mississippi.
No,
Jeez. No kidding.
Those are stars.
Yeah. And now I will say that my hope is that for the one toilet that it was causing problems that we found that just happened today, my hope is that at the very least, that's something that we've contacted our cleaning company about, because it's approaching biohazard level that none of us want to tackle. So my hope is that they will be able to take care of it, and we will at least be given a functioning toilet, even if it's not an optimal functioning toilet. So that is my hope for tomorrow morning as well.
Yeah, and I also share Kathy's concern, and maybe this is part of your negotiating ploy with them, is like, are these all on the same line? Is there any other infrastructure issue here? Because usually where there's smoke, there's fire. Now, the nature of toilets is once it's cracked, you're done. So if they're saying it's cracked, like, we shouldn't be putting that back in under any circumstances, I think. And if that's just happens to be, we've got a coincidence of issues, well, so be it. But I guess fundamentally, if that blockage is in the S curve of that toilet, then it's not a drain issue. It's unique to the toilet.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you. I appreciate that. Obviously, all of this is new territory, but especially having three toilets cause problems within a week and a half is a little abnormal. So I appreciate that. Okay, and like Bill mentioned, I will absolutely send a message with an update after I am able to get a hold of someone at Ravinia.
great.
See where we go with that. So appreciate that. Okay, so then following the toilet discussion, we have the discussion of projected final costs for the Stroh reading room, which I emailed. I can stop sharing my screen. There we go. I emailed the latest update from Jason, which and of course I thought I had that pulled up, but at any rate, he's not able to get an exact final cost because there are still a few things that still need to be taken care of. And per Kathy's request, I did send him an email this afternoon asking for a cost list and what has already been paid for, to make sure that because we have I think, what was the total, 33,000 confirmed?
33 has been transferred from the foundation to the library.
Okay.
To be applied towards the line from in August. I think it was Laurence brought to, or I guess it was actually Martha brought to my attention that the village had let us know that we were considerably over our donation line.
Mhm.
And that was because Eric had been making payments on the building project. And I was given, the overrun was 33,000. So I don't know what those payments are that Eric has made. So if we could
Okay.
track that down just to kind of, just for bookkeeping.
Okay.
And then, I mean, obviously the Stroh donation was 50,000,
Mhm.
and there's another 5,000 as well.
Mhm.
But I'd like a better accounting than just big numbers.
Of course. Yeah, so once I get that from him, I will definitely pass that along. Yeah, and I know, Kathy, or you were part of the conversation where I asked for um, an invoice for the fireplace to send to the Friends, and he sent a written statement instead.
Yeah.
I had asked him about an invoice, and my understanding is from him was something, I think it has something to do with the software or the spreadsheets that they're using, where at this point, it's difficult to pull out certain
Katie,
elements of it, but
yeah, I don't want to, I don't want to be a hard time in any of this. But I think that's baloney. I mean, I sat in meetings, you did as well, where we looked at all these images of all these different fireplaces and catalogs and one after another. And we all know you order something and you get an invoice.
yeah.
And all of the other products that were going into the room came from other suppliers. So this lone $15,000 item, and then there's an additional like 2,500 of balancing HVAC. I'm not sure if that is, actually the fireplace I think is 14 something. And then there was this HVAC. So do we round it up to 15? I don't know. But I think, and I don't know what the Friends will demand from you. If they just, this one document might be fine. I think they are going to ask you for an invoice.
No, I agree. And that's when I thought, actually, from my conversation with him, I thought he was going to provide an invoice once I clarified what we were looking for. So I was actually a little surprised when he sent the statement. So that's something that and actually, I was going to say he's going to be in tomorrow to do fireplace training. I can talk. I was going to say I can talk to him in person to be like, okay, try to figure out what is going on, because I agree. I was surprised that he didn't have the ability, whether for whatever reason, to give us that pulled out cost.
I just think it's lazy on his part, but that's, I don't, I mean, I've not worked with him before. I mean, you pay for something, you get an invoice in your hand. That's how it works. And that's a totally different supplier. That's why that should exist, I would think. So yeah, and the document that he's given us, he still has all these exorbitant fees. I don't know where this thing is going to end up. It keeps always creeping higher. And I don't know what he and Eric, I mean, we were down in the 70, I had a number of about 78,000. And yet he still shows us a document with, 100 plus, but there's a contingency, and I don't know if that's been applied or not.
The contingency has not been applied. He was talking about that as in, there's still a couple of things left to do, but he, aside from the painting of the exterior event, which he has listed at 500, that's going to be happening on Friday. Aside from that, he said, that's going to give us about 7,500 that would potentially be removed from.
What I'd kind of like to do is, talk this through tonight, but when the day of the walkthrough, I would like to stick around after we walk through and maybe sit down, you and I and he and whoever else, and just go over real numbers.
Okay.
Instead of just all these, he's very quick to itemize his fees. He doesn't itemize anything else. So it's a little frustrating, but we'll get to the bottom of it. I just want to make sure that we maximize our opportunity with the donation from the Friends, and that it's clear to them what they're donating.
Okay. So just maybe as a refresher, so the original donation was for 50 plus an additional 5, and then was Friends then donating some money to
15,000.
15. and then the person, Jason, is that the person was managing the project then?
Yes.
Or-
Yes.
So, so the changes from the original pricing to where we are now, all because of things that we changed, because like you said, on the contingency, only looks like a little bit of the contingency. I mean, the same question comes to mind. How did it get from what 50, 75, or what is 70 now to, if you take the contingency out, you're still at about 102. So it's still like 32,000 more than what was planned. And I think on the furniture, we talked about this last time. I think the furniture is going to come in around 13 as opposed to 10 if
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
the same thing there. So there is probably going to be another 3. So we're probably about 105,000 then for this, with the donations of 70. And I know obviously if we brought the supervision part on, or did we fund the supervision out of the library's operating board? Because I remember us talking a little bit about that.
You're right. That was
Yeah.
a discussion. And I don't know what that number, you're
I think
right.
it was
Phil.
about five. It was going to be about somewhere in that 5,000 range.
Yeah.
So I
thought-
think that one was coming out for us. But just the materials themselves then is the 65, and yeah, the contingency would come out of the others, but it looks like the architectural fees and the furniture were probably not factored in when we looked at this.
Boy, he has furniture down below. It's misspelled. There's several misspellings
Yeah.
in here.
Yeah, I saw
Of
that.
10.
But I think, Matt, at the last board meeting, Janie was saying that they're getting the estimate for the furniture that would look really nice in there was going to be closer to 13.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so that we've got some extra money around there that we definitely cover that part of it.
Yeah, it just seems every time we get a readout from them, it's less clear and more expensive. And it's non-construction items. So, well, I mean, I can tell you from the foundation's point of view that we have made a payment of 33,000. We have $22,000 just banked that's been donated already. And the foundation probably has another 10 that they could put into the project. I've actually got to go over those numbers. Katie and Janie's the new treasurer. We have to sit down and talk about all this, but we're scraping around and we hadn't expected to be in the position to do that. And honestly, I feel like this Jason's documentation is just kind of shoddy, and the misspellings and the fact that they lose documents in the software. It's nothing to do with the bottom line, but it's just I expected better. But Katie, what can we help you with tonight? What is your?
Sorry, I've got too many windows up here. I think what you well, not for tonight, I think it'll be good to go over this with him. I know that I was providing this information because I know Bonnie was mentioning in the B&G email thread that we need to get the projected, or we need to get a sense of the cost so that we can have this discussion here. So yeah, it's hard to say because, like you said, I still need to get the costs that have been made, or not the costs, the payments that have been made since or before Eric left, so that we can get that
Yeah,
we can get that
may have to
number.
go through some registers and double check, and Jason
Yeah.
should be able to help that. Um, What have we paid for? So let's, we're kind of speculating here. Let's decide that next Friday after this walkthrough, that
Mhm.
Jason is going to be with us for a while. And we're going to sit down and make sure that we
Mhm.
understand every line of his documentation and he's answered every question about it. And tell him we want to know what has been paid. What
Mhm.
specific line items have been paid.
Yep, I've emailed him about that, and then I still have to email him confirming the time for the walkthrough.
Okay.
So I was gonna do that tonight and then let him know after the walkthrough that you and I and Jason, I don't know if it makes sense for Sean to be there or not, but
Well, I would like Sean to, he's the Enberg Anderson representative, and he's the one who recommended Jason. They need to know the kind of work he's doing. And if
Okay.
they feel it's up to their measurement, or advise them otherwise. But yeah, I think we should expect, I haven't seen Sean since last February, I bet, so I don't think it occurred to him to sit down.
Okay, yeah, I'll include that in the email. It will, we want to sit down after the walkthrough and discuss this stuff.
And you can let Bonnie and Janie know they may want to join us.
Yeah, I'll add that to the building and grounds email chain. Yeah, so I was gonna say, at this point, I don't know that, since we're still trying to get some of the final numbers, I don't know that there's anything that can be done at this point, but at the very least, we're brought up to speed as much as possible.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would tell Jason we want to know what's been paid. We want an invoice for the fireplace, and we want a breakdown of actual final fees.
Mhm.
He's just going to have to account for the whole estimate in front of us so we can get through it finally.
Would he,
Kathy,
would he,
no, go ahead, Bill.
sorry, I was going to say, would he be able to sort of do a gap analysis as to
Yeah.
where we are today versus where we were with the original bid?
Yeah.
What's changed on his part, and if there's some things that we've added or we've refined, just so that we know, because if Jason's supposed to be managing this, he should have all that information.
Well, actually, we should have that for the Stroh family eventually anyway, because a lot of what from the original to where we are today is case, what they call case materials, which are the bookshelves.
Mhm.
And then the surround of the fireplace, which is tile, and the venting and the painting of that flue sort of thing. And I'm trying to think, Katie. Oh, the finishing of the walls. Cal specified
Mhm.
drywall versus painting the cinder block.
Mhm.
And I guess we need to scratch our heads and think of all the specific additions. And I don't know if Bill and Matt, I sent it to you, but I sent it to B&G. I do have the original email from Cal. She and I were conversing in February, saying that she specifically wanted to underwrite the improvements that she was recommending.
Okay.
So all of the additional to her original contribution of $50,000 was set in stone. And then as we began to meet on this, the add-ons began to accumulate with her approval, and we were she was always involved in every conversation.
Okay.
And it would have been the furniture as well.
Mhm.
So,
Right.
but we should sit down and have a pretty good number.
Right. Well, those three items there, Kathy, would be about 40 grand.
Yeah,
With the furniture, the fireplace, and the drywall. So
well, the fireplace itself is the front.
okay.
15.
Okay.
But then that
Okay.
require, I don't know if you've been in there, but there's a stone surround now, tile
So
surround. So that would be additional.
And that's like 33, nearly 3,400.
Okay.
And then the framing, the drywalling, and all of that is about 12. Yeah. And then the furniture is 13. So
Okay.
that could attribute the gap in between the two numbers. So
Well,
Nevertheless, I think it would be helpful, and we're paying him as part of the field supervision role to give us that, like you said, Bill, that gap or
Yeah.
reconciliation of, hey, when we started, We're not questioning you necessarily, Jason, but when we started, it was 70 grand. Now it's 110, but
Yeah.
you asked for X, Y, and Z, and you know, that,
Yes.
yeah.
That's a very good suggestion because I don't know where will be with the family after the trust is distributed, but they are aware that Cal had indicated further support. So the more proper documentation we can give them, the better. So thank you guys. Katie, we got to work on that.
Yep.
Uh, Okay.
Okay, so it sounds like we've gotten about as far as we can with that discussion until we can talk with Jason further and get some more finalized numbers. So with that, then I would say let's move on to the last main item on the agenda, which is to discuss the proposed salary range for whoever is offered the incoming director position.
Can you put
Okay.
up, don't you have a recommendation from Eric?
He didn't write it down, he just gave it to me verbally.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So I'll wait till Matt's got his headphones back on. Yeah, so Eric, yeah, Matt, I was just telling Kathy and Bill that Eric did not have a written suggestion, but he did verbally indicate to me that his recommendation for a proposed salary range for the new director would be 90 to 105,000. The reasoning being that the upper end of the range, the 105,000, was what was originally budgeted for the position with his salary, and that if we were to go, and that his belief was that if we went below 90,000, that low of a range for a director position is not likely to attract the top tier of candidates that we would want for the position.
Okay. And I
You
can,
know,
I
I'm
was just
sorry.
gonna, real quick, Matt, just let you and Bill know, we have had one applicant respond to the posting. So, and I think it's open to October 6th or so, but just to let you know, we have had one response to that. So I haven't seen it, but we are getting, it's working. I mean, we get.
And the
Good.
it went in, was it last week?
Yes.
Was it? Yes.
Yeah. And Jenny increased the exposure this week. It's now on the Chamber of Commerce website and also the village website.
I did, we had the HR committee meeting yesterday afternoon. I did mention, and the rest of the committee agreed that if we're able to approve a salary range, that my recommendation would be to repost the job listing with that information. It is having a specific number attached to it is going to not have it. Let me rephrase that. Not having a specific salary range attached to a job position is probably going to put off a lot of job searchers, especially now. There's I mean, that's always been something that applicants have wanted to know upfront, but especially now as dynamics and how the relationship between job seekers and employers is playing out. A lot of applicants are not going to apply to something that they don't know the salary for. And especially on the Rails board, it is very much the norm to have us either a specific salary or a salary range listed.
Yeah. I think the state of California is going to where they have to put salary ranges onto job applications. But yeah, I'm okay with putting the range on. Have you had discussions with the HR committee on the range, Katie, or not? Did that come up?
No,
No.
we
Okay.
wanted to, I told them that I was gonna be meeting with the finance committee. They, none of them had necessarily had any specific thoughts about the range. I told them it would be under discussion for tonight's
Right.
meeting.
Yeah, I concur that having the range is important for job seekers. I think that's, just in the era of transparency, that's a good practice. As far as the specific range, I think that's more of an HR question than for this audience, but I would say that Eric's recommendation seems reasonable. We also have, I think, from last year, we have that the materials we've received on some of the competitive analysis around salary ranges. And I don't know if the HR committee or even the broader committee would want to consider that in any determination of final range if that's still under debate. Do you all recall what I'm referencing?
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
remember exactly,
Yep.
because I think, I mean, out of the libraries there, we were one of the smaller ones in there.
Yeah.
And so some of the numbers on there were a lot higher but bigger. And then maybe I think is Highwood smaller, Katie, than I think Highwood's got a smaller library.
In terms of salary, you mean?
No,
or
just size, like number of people.
Community size, I'm not sure. Library size in terms of staff, yes, it's smaller.
Yeah, I'm just trying to remember some of the libraries that were on there as part of that study. But
yeah, I'm trying to find that document because you're right, Bill. I mean, they're not the best comps, but some of them, at least in terms of like circulation, were in the
Yes.
right ballpark.
Yeah.
So in terms of like the operational concerns that the director might have, that might be approximate. That's kind of the best. I mean, it's a small sample.
I just looked up just the general population size of Highwood. It's almost exactly on par. It's about 5,300.
okay.
There you go. I'm trying to find that document. I just had my wife run my other laptop up. Anyway,
Yeah.
I don't know if that's really germane to this conversation right now. I concur with putting the range on if that's the decision we need to make.
And G, are you in agreement with this particular range?
Am I?
Yeah.
I mean, it seems reasonable based on where Eric was. The only reticence I have is just if we want to explore other recent benchmark hires, and I question whether they're even directly comparable. But it is a competitive job market.
I don't, it's not directly comparable in terms of, size or anything like that, but within the last week and a half, Waukegan Library finally hired a new permanent director, and the salary range listed in the article was 125. Which, considering, I mean, Waukegan is a much bigger community and the library's budget is about 4 times our size. But
Okay.
that range seemed, I actually, when I saw that, I was like, well, without doing, specific number crunching, that seems to put this salary range, it seems to indicate that that's a reasonable salary range.
Yeah, no, I think that's good.
Yeah, I agree. Good observation, Katie.
Yeah. So if we're looking for the number, then Katie, I would go with Eric's recommendation, and that sort of puts that in that range, and we would put it into the advert, into the job search.
All right. Now I was going to say, Kathy, you know better than I do. If this is the range that we agree on, do we need to do a roll call vote? Do we need an official approval on this?
Well, it doesn't hurt to have a roll call.
Right.
There's no harm in doing that. So that we're covered if we otherwise someone would charge that. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense for the finance committee to approve a salary range of 90 to 105,000 for a newly hired director. That's a reasonable motion and vote on that.
Okay. So Bill,
I'll motion A motion to approve a salary range of 90 to $105,000 and also to annotate that in our job listings.
And I'll
Okay.
second.
Okay. And I for Kathy, so.
Yeah.
Okay. Procedural, do I need to get official aye from the motioners and the seconders as well, or?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay,
All eyes.
Okay.
And I include. Okay, so Katie, you let HR know
yes.
this.
Do you want me to CC you on that as well, Kathy?
Yes, please.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. Okay, so that gets through the three main topics that I had. Is there anything else that needs to be discussed?
Nothing for me.
No.
Okay.
Nothing for me.
Okay, well, I'll be sure to keep everyone updated about, the toilet issues, and of course, as we get more solid information about the storeroom numbers. But otherwise, I would be looking for a motion to adjourn.
I will motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Okay. Motion
Aye.
from Bill. And from Matt. Kathy agrees.
Yeah.
All right,
All right, great. Thank you, Katie.
all
Thanks
right.
very much,
Thanks, Katie.
Katie.
Thanks,
See y'all
everyone.
later.
Okay.